Good evening, dear students from all over Egypt. Welcome to today's session. With you today, Ms. Wafa Hassouf, Suhad will narrate. Today, inshallah, we will start the first chapter of your novel. And your novel is The Count of Monte Cristo. The Count of Monte Cristo. A beautiful novel, really wonderful, and I hope you, inshallah, enjoy it. So, as usual, we will start with the main characters. The main characters. So, the hero of the novel is Edmond Dantes, the Count of Monte Cristo. He's a young sailor betrayed by France, wrongfully imprisoned, and later transformed into a powerful count seeking justice and revenge. Mercedes, Mercedes. She's Edmund's true love, who marries Fernand after Edmund's imprisonment. Fernand Mondego. So, Fernand Mondego is Edmund's rival, who betrays him and marries Mercedes. Later, he becomes a rich and powerful but dishonorable man. And now we have Danglars. Danglars. He's the greedy banker who conspires against Edmund. Still with the main characters, we have Valleyford. Valleyford. He is an ambitious prosecutor who sends Edmund to prison to protect his own career. And we have Cadurus. Cadurus is a neighbor and false friend, guilty of cowardice and betrayal. Maximilian Morel. Maximilian Morel, the loyal son of Edmund's old employer, who represents hope and honor. Now we have Valentine Valleyford. Valentine Valleyford. So, Valleyford's innocent daughter, victim of poison plots and true love of Maximilian. Heidi. Heidi. She's the daughter of Ali Pasha, saved by Edmund, who becomes his companion at the end. And now, let's continue with the main characters of the novel, The Count of Monte Cristo. We have Edmund Dent's return. Edmund Dent's return. A 19-year-old first mate of the Pharaoh safely returned ship to Marseille after the captain's death, showing skill and bravery. Respected even by older sailors who had doubted him. Reunion with loved ones. Welcomed by crowd, including his father and fiancée Mercedes. Well, a quick translation for you dear students. بداية النوفل عندنا البطل طبعا Edmund Dance and his loved one is Mercedes. Edmund Dance عنده تقريبا 19 سنة. اتعرض لمشكلة كان على السفينة إن الكابتن اتوفى، فاضطر إن هو بقى يتعامل مع الموقف وأظهر شجاعة ومهارة جميلة جدا، لدرجة إن حتى البحارة اللي هم كبار جدا في السن really respected him. وطبعا كانوا هم شاكين في قيادته ازاي ان هو يقود السفينة إلى مرساها بأمان، فطبعا أقنعهم وكان حاجة يعني perfect جدا. After that, he reunion with his loved one, his father and his fiancée Mercedes. Edmund shares good news. He will be promoted to captain. طبعا after his leadership, his perfect leadership, بعد ما أظهر طبعًا القيادة الرائعة في قيادة السفينة إلى بر الأمان، فتم تعيينه أو تم ترقيته إلى كابتن للسفينة. His father is proud and Mercedes dreams of a secure happy future. For sure طبعًا والده كان يعني فخور جدًا بيه، ومرسيدس لمّا هو اترقى لكابتن بقت تحلم بحياة سعيدة وآمنة في المستقبل. Shipowner Morale confirmed Edmund's promotion to captain. مالك السفينة سير موريل أكد على إن إدموند خلاص تم ترقيته إلى كابتن. jealous rivals jealous rivals نيجي بقى للبلوت تاني أو التويست تاني الموجود عندنا في النوبل الخاص بالjealousy أو الغيرة. Fernand Mondego, who also loves Mercedes, burns with jealousy. في عندنا كاركتر تاني موجودة اسمه فرناندو مونديجو. ده شخص يعني معجب بمرسيدس وطبعا بيحقد على إدموند دينس إن هو هيرتبط بيها، وبالتالي من الغيرة الشديدة دي he tries to make a trap for him. يحاول إن هو يعني set an ambush، ينصب ليه فخ على أساس إن هو يتخلص منه تماما. Dangerous. The purser resents Edmund's promotion over him. طبعا دينجلرز ده شخص برضه موجود كان على السفينة وبرضه حاقد على إدموند، بيحاول إن هو يقلب الترقية عليه أو الترقية اللي هو ترقاها، بيقلب الطاولة عليه وهيعمل يعني في فخ رهيب جدا. Both طبعًا إحنا عندنا Fernand Mondego and Danglars both secretly harbor hatred towards Edmund. So هُم الاتنين بقى سريًا ابتدوا إن هُم يعني الغضب اللي موجود جواهم، الكراهية اللي يعني فيهم تشتعل، وبيتعاونوا سويًا للإيقاع بإدموند. Family struggle. Family struggles. Edmund learns his father has lived in poverty, repaying debts in his absence. طبعا أثناء ما كان إدموند غايب كان للأسف والده يعيش في فقر مدقع، لدرجة إن هو كان طبعا بيحاول إنه يسدد كل الديون بتاعته أثناء ما إدموند غائب. Edmund gives him his wages and promises security. طبعًا كل الأموال اللي حصل عليها كمرتب ليه اداها لوالده على أساس إن هو يقدر يسدد بيها ديونه، ويعني وضّح له بقى إن خلاص إن شاء الله فترة الأمان جاية and I'm here for you. Betrayal blooded. جه وقت الخيانة. Fernand Danglars meet in secret, plotting Edmund's downfall. تقابلوا فرنان and Danglars إنهم يحاولوا يوقعوا بإدموند. They decide to accuse him of treason, claiming he carries a letter for Napoleon. طبعا في الفترة دي كان التعامل مع الجيش الفرنسي أو نابليون in particular من أشد المخاطر، ويعتبر خيانة عظمى. فهم دبروا كده إن يوصلوا إدموند أو يوصلوا للآخرين إن إدموند ده خائن وبيتعامل مع نابليون إن he had a letter to deliver it to Napoleon، دليل على إن هو خائن لوطنه. Danglars writes the false letter and Fernand delivers it to the prosecutor. طبعا للأسف دانجلرز بيكتب خطاب خاطئ، والخطاب ده بيكون موجه لنابليون، وبيوصله للمدعي العام اللي طبعا بيقبض على إدموند. Arrest and tragedy. On the day of Edmund and Mercedes' betrothal feast, soldiers arrive. للأسف اختاروا وقت سيء للغاية. وهو الوقت اللي بيكون فيه الوقت الارتباط أو حفل الخطوبة الخاص بإدموند ومرسيدس. بيصل الجنود للحفل. Edmund is arrested on suspicion of treason. للأسف بيتم القبض عليه بتهمة الاشتباه إن هو خائن لبلاده. His father trembles. Mercedes protests his innocence, but Edmund is taken away. طبعا والده يعني ينهار جدا وكان يعني في حالة ارتجاف يعني خوف. مرسيدس حاولت إن هي يعني منهارة قدامهم بتحاول إن هي تدافع عنه، ولكن الجنود في النهاية أخذوه طبعا إلى السجن. His joyful future collapses into darkness. في لحظة السعادة انقلبت إلى تعاسة تامة، وطبعا حياته انقلبت إلى جحيم زي ما احنا هنشوف بعدين. Now, dear students, we have the vocab for chapter 1. That was the summary and the characters, the main characters of chapter 1. Let's see the vocabulary, a definition for it, and an example. تعالوا نشوف كده الفوكابولاري الخاص بشابتر 1 وإكزامبل عليها والدefinition الخاص بيها. So, we have here clench. So, to clench means to close a hand or teeth tightly, usually due to anger or determination. فين لما الإنسان يكون مصمم على شيء وبيجز على أسنانه أو على إيديه بقوة، دليل على إن هو مصمم أو غضبان. So look here to the example we have. He had to clench his fist to control his anger. Now we have the word command. Command as a verb, it's to give an order with authority to direct or control. So command يأمر. And an example for the captain will command the sailors to prepare for departure. After that we have confidently. Confidently, it's an adverb meaning بثقة. So the definition of it is in a way that shows certainty or assurance. For example, she answers the difficult questions confidently during the interview. Now we have confirm. To confirm, it's a verb بمعنى يؤكد على. So to state or show that something is definitely true or correct. For example, please call the office to confirm your attendance at the meeting. So, what it means to hold someone closely in one's arm, to accept new ideas or change, it means to embrace. Embrace يعني يضم أو يحتضن. For example, the mother ran to embrace her son after his long journey home. Now we have the adjective envious. Envious. It's a feeling or showing a desire to have what someone else has. Envious غيور أو حقود, and it equals or it's a synonym of the word jealous. Jealous يعني غيور. For example, he was envious of his friend's expensive new car. Continue with the vocab. We have the word cargo. Cargo and a noun means حمولة. So the goods carried by a ship, airplane, or a vehicle. For example, the port workers began unloading the valuable cargo from the large vessel. After that, we have celebrate. Celebrate. It's a verb and means to honor a happy day or event with a party or special activities. Celebrate means يحتفل. For example, we will celebrate my sister's graduation next weekend. Now we have faithfully. Faithfully, بإيمان, in a loyal, reliable, or truthful manner. And it's an adverb. So look to the example we have. The secretary faithfully kept a record of every conversation. Now we have gangplank. Gangplank. It's a noun and it's a movable bridge used for passengers to get on or off a ship. زي يعني كوبري متحرك كده أو زي مجموعة من الأخشاب كده بتقدر إن الحمولة تعدي من خلالها. So the tourists walk down the gangplank to step onto the shore. Gravely, gravely. It's an adverb and it means in a serious or solemn manners. Check the example we have. The judge listened gravely to the witness testimony بشكل جاد وصارم. So, eager. To be eager to something, it's an adjective. It means very excited and interested to do something. متشوق لشيء. So the students were eager to start the new science project. Continuing with the vocab, we have innocent. Innocent. So innocent is an adjective and means not guilty of a crime or wrong, harmless or pure. So innocent معناها بريء. So look here. The jury decided that the defendant was innocent of all charges. Now we have tremble. Tremble. To shake slightly and uncontrollably from fear, cold, or excitement. Tremble يرتجف. So look here. He began to, the small child started to tremble after he heard the loud thunder. Now we have mutter. Mutter. It's a verb and to speak in a low and clear voice, often showing annoyance. So he began to mutter complaints about the poor quality of the food. After that, we have malice. Malice. It's a noun. It means the desire to harm someone, deep ill will. For example, there was no accident. The act was done with clear malice. مؤامرة. Now we have mate. Mate. It's a noun and it's a rank of officer on a ship below the captain, a partner or friend. So the chief mate is responsible for the deck crew and the ship's cargo. After that, we have modestly. Modestly, it's an adverb and it means in a humble, simple, or moderate way. Check the example with me. When praised for her work, she smiled modestly and thanked the team. Still with the vocab, dear students, we have dock. Dock. So it's a noun and it means a structure built on the shore where ships can load and unload. The fishing boat, this is the example we have. The fishing boat returned to the dock earlier this morning. After that, we have poverty. Poverty. So it's a noun and the state of being extremely poor. Look to the example. The government is working on solutions to reduce poverty in rural areas. Prosecutor. Prosecutor. It's a noun and it means the liar who tries to prove that a defendant is guilty of a crime. And the example for you, the prosecutor presented the final arguments to the court. Also, a prosecutor is an officer on a ship who handles things. So I asked the purser, look here, we have a purser. Purser, it's a noun, and he is an officer on a ship who handles money, accounts, and the welfare of passengers. So this is purser, purser. For example, I asked the purser about exchanging currency on board the cruise ship. Do you know what's to shine brightly with flashes of light? It's sparkle. Sparkle. It's a verb and it's to shine brightly with flashes of light. Look to the example. The jewels in her ring began to sparkle in the sunshine. We have trader. Traitor, he's a noun, and he's a person who betrayed their country, a friend, or a cause. Look to the example we have. The spy was condemned as a traitor for sharing national secrets. Continue with the vocab, we have the word seize. So to seize, it's a verb and means to take hold of something suddenly and forcefully. Look to the example. The security guards had to seize the bag from the thief. Now we have wages. Wages. It's noun and it's a fixed regular payment earned for work or services, paid daily or weekly. Look here. The factory workers demanded an increase in their hourly wages. After that, we have wisdom. Wisdom, it's a noun, and it's the quality of having experience, knowledge, and good judgment. Look to the example. We often ask the elderly for their wisdom before making a big decision. Humiliation. Humiliation. It's a noun and it's the feeling of shame and foolishness caused by hurting one's pride. Look here, he felt great humiliation after his public mistake. What's to make someone feel admiration or respect? It's to impress, of course. Look to the example we have. He wanted to impress his new boss with his strong work ethics. Insufferable, insufferable, too extreme or unpleasant to bear. Intolerable. Look to the example. The heat in the desert during the day was absolutely insufferable. Now we have the student chapter 1 in points. So this is the summary of chapter 1 for you in small points, just to make you remind them and try to memorize the chapter well. Edmond Dance returned to Marseille at the age of 19 after a successful voyage on the Pharaon. When the captain died, Edmund took command and skillfully brought the ship home. At the port, he was welcomed joyfully by his father and his fiancée Mercedes. Monsieur Morel praised him and promised to make him the new captain of the ship. His father felt great pride, while Mercedes dreamed of a happy future with him. Fernand, who loved Mercedes, burned with jealousy at her choice of Edmund. Danglars also envied Edmund because he was promoted above him. Visiting his father, Edmund learned that he had lived in poverty while repaying a debt. Edmund gave him his wages and promised to care for him from then on. He and Mercedes plan to marry soon and look forward to a bright future. Meanwhile, Fernand and Danglars secretly met to plan against Edmund. They wrote a false letter accusing him of carrying messages for Napoleon. During Edmund's betrothal feast, soldiers arrested him, destroying his happiness. Now, dear students, after we have chapter 1 in points, I prepared it for you in a video. So enjoy watching it, dear students.
Chapter 1. Created by Mrs. Wafar Hassob. The Arrival at Marseilles. A Young Sailor's Fortune. Edmond Dantes stood proudly at the front of the ship Pharaon as it entered the port of Marseille. The wind pushed the sails, the sea sparkled in the sunlight, and sailors hurried across the deck. For Edmond, this was not just another journey, it was the beginning of a new life. He was only 19 years old, but already the first mate of one of the finest ships of his company. His heart was full of hope and dreams, for he carried good news for both his employer and his family. The Pharaon had sailed from Smyrna, then stopped in Naples, and was finally returning to Marseille. On the voyage, the ship's captain had fallen gravely ill. Edmond, young and ambitious, had taken command. He navigated storms, negotiated with traders, and brought the ship safely home with its cargo untouched. His skill and bravery impressed everyone on board. Even the old sailors, who at first had doubted him, now spoke of him with respect. As the ship neared the dock, a small crowd gathered to welcome it. Merchants, port workers, and families waited impatiently. Edmond felt his heart beat faster, for among the crowd stood the two people he loved most. His father, an old man who had given everything for his son, and Mercedes, the beautiful young woman who was promised to him. The ship anchored, and Edmond gave sharp, confident orders. Lower the sails. Prepare the ropes. Secure the cargo. His voice carried across the deck, and the sailors obeyed with speed. When the gangplank was lowered, Edmond ran down, eager to embrace his father and Mercedes. His father held him tightly, tears in his eyes. Mercedes smiled, her dark hair shining in the sunlight, her eyes full of love. Edmond, she whispered, you are safe. I prayed for you every day. I am safe, and more than that, Edmond replied. I bring good news. The captain has died, but the owner, Monsieur Morel, has promised to make me captain of the Pharaon. At 19, I shall have my own command. His father's hands trembled as he held him. Captain, my son, you make me proud. Your mother would have been proud too. Mercedes lowered her eyes modestly, though joy filled her heart. To be the wife of a captain meant security and honor. She dreamed of a small home near the sea, children playing by the shore, and a future bright with happiness. Monsieur Morel soon appeared, a wealthy merchant with a kind smile. He greeted Edmond warmly and confirmed the promise. You have shown courage and wisdom beyond your years. The Pharaon is yours to command, Edmond. Serve me faithfully, and you shall rise even higher. The crowd cheered, and Edmond felt as if the whole world celebrated with him. Yet, while most smiled, not every face was full of joy. Hidden among the crowd was Fernand Mondego, a fisherman from Catalonia. He stood silently, his fists clenched, his eyes burning with jealousy. For Fernand loved Mercedes too, and he had long dreamed of marrying her. But she had chosen Edmond. And Fernand's heart was filled with anger and envy. Another man, Danglars, the ship's purser, also looked at Edmond with bitterness. During the voyage, Edmond had been promoted above him, and Danglars could not forgive this humiliation. To see a 19-year-old boy given the command of the Pharaon was, for him, an insult. His lips curled into a thin smile as he muttered to himself, Captain Dantes, we shall see how long that lasts. Unaware of the hatred growing around him, Edmond walked proudly through the streets of Marseille with his father and Mercedes at his side. They visited his father's small home, where Edmond discovered a painful truth: his father had lived in poverty. While he was away, out of duty, the old man had repaid a debt of money that Edmond owed to a neighbor, leaving himself almost nothing to eat. Edmond was heartbroken, but he quickly gave his father all the wages he had earned. From now on, you will want for nothing, he promised. The evening brought more joy. Edmond and Mercedes walked along the shore, speaking of their future. The sea breeze touched their faces, and the horizon seemed to promise endless possibilities. They planned to marry as soon as possible. Mercedes leaned on Edmund's arm and whispered, "I wish this happiness could last forever." "It will," Edmund answered confidently. "Nothing can take it from us." But fate had other plans. The seeds of betrayal. While Edmund celebrated, Danglars and Fernand met secretly. In a dark tavern. They spoke in low voices, their words heavy with malice. "Edmund has everything," Fernand hissed. "Mercedes, success. The captaincy. While I, who has loved her since childhood, am left with nothing." "And I," said Danglars, "should be purser, second only to the captain. Instead, this boy takes the command, and I am forced to serve under him. His good fortune is insufferable." The two men drank coffee, their eyes filled with hatred. It was then that Danglars suggested a plan. What if Edmund were accused of being a traitor? What if someone wrote a letter to the authorities, claiming he carries messages from Napoleon's supporters? Fernand's eyes lit with cruel hope. If he is arrested, he will lose Mercedes. She will be mine. Exactly, Danglars agreed. And I shall have my revenge. He will never be captain if he is in prison. That night, with careful handwriting, Danglars composed a letter. It accused Edmond Dantès of carrying a secret letter from Napoleon Bonaparte to his followers in Paris. The accusation was false, but it was dangerous. The government feared Napoleon, who had been exiled but still had many loyal supporters. To be suspected of helping him was enough to destroy a man's life. When the letter was finished, Fernand delivered it to the local prosecutor. With that single act, Edmund's future was poisoned. Celebration and shadows. The next day, Edmund's friends gathered for his betrothal feast. Laughter filled the air, music played, and tables were heavy with food and drinks. Mercedes wore a simple white dress, her face glowing with happiness. Cheers answered him, and for a moment, all seemed perfect. But outside, in the shadows, soldiers approached. At the height of the celebration, the door opened, and an officer entered with cold authority. "Edmond Dantès?" he asked. "Yes," Edmund replied, surprised. "You are under arrest by order of the king's prosecutor." The room fell silent. Mercedes gasped, Edmund's father. The arrival at Marseilles trembled, and Edmund himself stood frozen with shock. He had done nothing wrong, yet strong hands seized him and led him away. The feast ended in confusion and sorrow. Mercedes cried out, "There must be a mistake. Edmund is innocent." But her words were useless. The trap had closed, and Edmund's bright future was already slipping into darkness.
Hope you enjoyed chapter 1 summary and chapter 1 in total in the video. Now, dear students, we have some questions for you. So, match the words with their meanings. So, the words we have here: helm, cargo, loyal, burden, and shore. And the meanings we have: faithful and true in friendship or duty. So what does it mean, faithful? The word that means faithful and true in friendship or duty. What does it mean? Something difficult that causes worry. Goods carried by a ship. Land at the edge of the sea. And wheel or possession used to steer a ship. Now, let's check them together. Well, helm is the wheel or position used to steer a ship. We have cargo, it's goods carried by a ship. And the word loyal means faithful and true in friendship or duty. Burden is something difficult that causes worry. And now we have shore. It's a land at the edge of the sea. Continue with the question. Do it with us. Well, why was Edmund respected by the crew after the captain's death? Of course, because he took command bravely, navigated storms, managed trade, and brought the ship and its cargo safely back to Marseille. His skill impressed even the older sailors. Question 2. What can we guess about Edmund's personality from how he takes responsibility on the ship? Of course, he's confident, capable, responsible, ambitious, and shows natural leadership and qualities despite his young age. Continue with the question. How did the arrival at Marseille set the stage for both hope and danger in Edmund's life? Well, as for hope, he reunites with his father and fiancée, is promised the captaincy, and dreams of happy future. And the danger is jealous rivals, Fernand and Danglars, plot against him, leading to his arrest. Well, do you think Edmund's loyalty to his captain was more important than reaching his family quickly? Why or why not? Well, of course, yes. His duty as a sailor came first. By staying loyal, he earned respect and the chance at captaincy. Or maybe you can have your answer as no alternative view. Dear Sim, by the way, your questions in the exam, inshallah, is about thinking, about critical thinking, your opinion. You need to express your opinion, but with evidence. So if you say no, you have to give me the evidence. Why no? If you say yes, well, give me the proof that yes, it should be a positive answer. Okay, so if we have the answer as no, it's an alternative view. Family is precious, and seeing them sooner could have mattered more. But Edmund chose duty over self. Continue with the question. Do it with us. Well, if you were in Edmund's place, would you have acted differently with the ship and the crew? Explain. Well, likely no. I'd have done the same because ensuring the ship's safety and respecting the captain's wishes was the right thing to do. Well, of course, dear students, you may answer differently, but with reasons. You need to show reasons for why no or why yes. Question 6. The sea voyage represents more than travel. What might the sea symbolize for Edmund at this point in the story? Well, it symbolized new opportunities, freedom, ambition, and the beginning of a promising future. Of course, at the same time, it foreshadows uncertainty and dangers that lie ahead. In time, it foreshadows uncertainty and danger that lies ahead. Continue with the questions. Well, we need you to check your understanding for the novel itself. Well, why was Edmund respected by the crew after the captain's death? Well, because he skillfully guided the ship through storms and completed the voyage successfully. How did the arrival at Marseille set the stage for both hope and danger in Edmund's life? Well, it brings him joy with his father and fiancée, but also jealousy and hatred from others. Does Edmund then deserve the promotion of the ship's captain? Why is it happy or ominous? Why? Well, yes, he is competent, skillful, and trustworthy. It's happy as it shows his father's trust. Continue with the questions. What do you think Morel values more in a captain? Do you agree or not, and why? Well, he values skill, efficiency, and responsibility. Well, yes, because they are essential for captaincy. The relation between Edmund and his father was touching. Do you agree or not, and why? Well, yes, of course, because his father was happy and proud. He promised to care for his father. And now we have this question. What was the accusation that Fernand and Danglars wrote against Edmund? Well, the false letter accused Edmund of carrying a ladder for Napoleon. Well, that was the end for today's session, dear students. Hope you enjoyed it, got all the information well. See you next time from me, Miss Wafa. All best wishes. Thank you and goodbye.